Welcome to the 15-Minute Financial Feast podcast, bringing you 15-minute segments to help you retire with purpose on time. We're serving up food for thought and bread for the head. Are you hungry to learn? Here are your hosts, Mark Triplett and Troy Westendorf.
During this episode of the 15-Minute Financial Feast podcast, we're listening in on Troy Westendorf and Mark Triplett's Lunch and Learn series, where they covered a wide variety of retirement and tax planning strategies to help you retire with purpose on time.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Lunch and Learn session today. I'm your host, Mark Triplett.
Troy Westendorf.
And today we're going to be sharing some thoughts, we call it bread for the head, a little food for thought here. And today we're going to be talking about things that you can do in 2021 to get both financially and physically fit. So we'll share 3 habits that will build your financial muscles going into 2021, as well as 3 habits that can positively impact your health. And Troy and I will share some of the things, the strategies that we're using to do both for us and our family. So let's get started, man.
Yeah, so we always talk about it. What good is it to be financially fit if you're not physically fit in retirement?
Yeah, I mean, to work really hard and save for retirement and then get there and be exhausted and maybe have a short life expectancy because you didn't take care of yourself and you're not physically capable of enjoying yourself.
Right.
That's not an outcome we want for any of the folks that we work with. So, there are ways that in 2021 that you can really start to flex that financial muscle. So we'll start there. One of the things that I would say first is to pay down debt. If we have debt on the books, or if you have debt on the books, pay that down, starting with the highest interest debt that you can, and then try to eliminate that. And you probably heard of the snowball effect, but start with that highest interest debt, pay that down, then move on to the next one. If you think about it this way, if you have money that's on a credit card, for example, and you're carrying a balance forward, and maybe it's a small amount, $2,000, $5,000, something like that on a credit card,
Right.
Okay? And that credit card is charging you upwards of 14%. There's no place that you and I could invest somebody's money, $2,000 or $5,000, and earn that type of return guaranteed.
Right.
But you can eliminate that interest payment by just paying that debt off. And we've seen too often folks that have cash sitting in savings, earning nothing in many cases, but very little if it's in a CD or savings account, for example. Maybe it's less than 1%. But yet they're carrying a balance on high interest payments. So they're being charged much more than they're earning, and they're going backwards. They just don't even realize it. So pay that off first. And if you haven't refinanced your home in the last 120 days, it's worth looking into because mortgage rates have come down, and it might be advantageous to talk to your mortgage broker. If you don't have somebody to speak to, we can direct you to some folks that have really helped out the folks that we work with. So let us know if that's something that you have questions about. Then revisit your spending plan. If you haven't done your spending plan in a while, after a client of ours, we review that once a year on your review, and we have you go back through the spending plan and make adjustments. But if you've never worked with us, or if you haven't reviewed your spending plan in a while, it's a good time to do that now and just look at on a monthly basis, where are your dollars going? You have money coming into the household, but where's the money going out of the household at? And sometimes we find leakage. There may be subscriptions to there's reoccurring subscriptions to services that maybe you're not even using, but you signed up for them. They're running in the background. You forgot about them. It can add up pretty significantly on a monthly basis for things that you're paying for. We've seen folks that end up with streaming services, for example, and they paid for 3 or 4 different streaming services they're not even using, but they didn't realize that they're still being charged $10, $15, $20, $25, $30 a month for these services. And they've got 2 or 3 of them in the background charging that up every month. So there's hundreds of dollars kind of leaking out the back door. They didn't even know about it. So it's good to revisit the spending plan. And last, increase your savings. Build up that emergency fund. So if you don't have an emergency fund, start one. We like to have folks have an emergency fund of at least 6 months. 3 to 6 months is what most financial professionals will tell you. We really like to see 6 to 12 months, but it really is a personal situation. What is your sleep well at night balance? What does that need to be for you to sleep well at night? And make sure you replenish that if you've spent some of that down. And then definitely contribute to your retirement accounts. If you're eligible to contribute to an IRA or a Roth IRA, perhaps if you have a retirement plan at work and they're matching, make sure that you're taking full advantage of that match. Should you contribute more than the match? Maybe that's a personal situation. You have to look at your personal financial circumstances, but definitely up to that match, take advantage of those dollars. So those are some things that I would say, 3 things right out of the chute 2021 that you could do to flex those financial muscles. Troy?
Yeah, so let's get physical.
Yeah.
It's time to get physical. So a lot of people don't know, they may know, but I was a strength and conditioning coach. So I actually got my certificate for strength and conditioning. Brenda does a lot of the fitness at the gym as well, as far as aerobic style training. And so the question always comes up, well, do I do aerobic style training? Do I do strength and conditioning? Obviously, a good mixture is good. I kind of lean to the strength and conditioning just because I know the benefits that it has and the muscle development that you need in your retirement years when you're wanting to get out of that chair and maybe something's not working right and you need strength to pull yourself out. If you don't have the strength, then guess what? You need to go to a nursing home or you need to go to a facility until you build up your strength. So I always say with seniors, you got to be doing something every day. Whether that's going to the gym, whether that's doing resistant bands at home, something to keep those muscles intact, because the more you use it, the more they grow. The less you use it, they deplete. And it depletes fast.
And if you're not a gym rat like we are, if you're not going to the gym every day, if you don't want to buy the resistance bands at home, there are some other exercises you can do with just body weight. Right?
Oh yeah. Body weight alone will do a lot of exercise.
So I've got a friend of mine. I know that he does like modified push-ups and things like that at home on chairs and different. Uses different furniture in his house to use his body weight to stay really physically fit.
Yeah, and the reason we talk a lot about physically fit is if you look at now's the time for resolutions, right? And that's usually the top one. I want to get physically fit. I want to lose weight. I want to eat better. Okay. So how do we do that? Start to set those goals up. And I would say set the goals up in small amounts, not I'm going to lose 30 pounds by the end of the month. Because if you put a date on it, I'm going to lose 30 pounds by the end of the month, and the end of the month comes and you haven't lose 30 pounds, you're going to quit.
Well, and so you're basically saying set realistic goals. In addition to that, when we're talking about your physical fitness, if maybe you're carrying more weight than you want to, but you start doing resistance training, lifting weights or using resistance bands or even body weight training at home, you're going to build muscle, and muscle weighs more than fat. So you'll actually see folks that'll lean up, but they'll actually weigh the same or more because they're building muscle, and that's okay. So, the scale is not necessarily the tell-all.
No.
Are you getting stronger? Are you physically be able to continue to do the things you want to do, not only now, but for the future. So, cool. And then, watch what you put in your
garbage
body,
in, garbage out.
Yeah, you are what you eat.
Yeah. That's probably the hardest thing, because we live in a society where we need fast food or we got to grab food on the go. And it's so hard to grab something nutritional versus something that we'd like to grab. So it takes discipline. What do they say? It takes like 66 days to form a habit. Yeah. So it's not easy to drive through and not get the junk side versus prepping. And I think prepping food is probably the easiest way to avoid those pitfalls of having the junk food is the prepping. Make the day before, what am I having tomorrow for snacks? What's my lunch going to look like? And it does take some discipline, and it's not as easy, but it gets you those results quicker than what you're going to do trying to do this on a fly by the seat of your pants type thing.
Yeah.
Just to plan ahead. And that goes to retirement planning, anything. I mean, have a plan in place. That's the best way to get to where you're going to be for physically fit or financially fit, is to have a plan.
There are so many things that you can buy at the grocery store that you can put in your body that can cause inflammation. Yes. And when the body doesn't do well, it's hard for you to do well. Some people don't do well because they just don't feel well.
I don't feel good.
And a lot of it has to do with just what they're putting in their body, rather than having the processed foods that come in a box, eating more of the foods that come from the produce aisle or lean meats and things like that. It can be, if you start learning to read labels, and you'll see items that have a lot of contents in them that you can't pronounce. It's probably a good thing to put down. But you can really change the way you feel just by what you're putting in your body and being mindful of that, and then drinking enough water too, right? Staying hydrated. Yep. And the last thing is just getting enough rest. Yeah. I mean, so many of us are burning both candles, or burning the candle at both ends, right. Particularly with the holidays just getting over. It's been a mad dash. I mean, I remember you had family at your house
for a couple weeks. Yeah. So,
and so, you just have a lot of activity going on. But right now is a good time to set that routine of maybe going to bed a little bit earlier and giving yourself the adequate rest that you need. I got a friend of mine in Colorado. The guy even takes naps in the afternoon. Little power naps, not long. But it's and it's not how long you're in bed, it's how long you're in REM, rapid eye movement sleep. So the quality of sleep is just as important as and probably more important than how long you're lying there. So those are things though that you can really do to improve your physical fitness in the next few months. And it does take time to build those routines.
It does take time, and like I said, start small. Even if it's going to the gym or going for a walk or doing something for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I always tell the senior clients that they don't want to go to the gym. It's like just go for a half hour, even if it's for a walk. If it's going on a few weight machines, you don't have to like push your body to extremes. Just go on some of the weight machines that are easy to maneuver. It doesn't take, certain muscles. It's just all there. Do some light weights and just do some big repetitions and start building that muscle strength. It's going to do wonders for their body through the retirement years.
Yeah. And all of these things we're talking about, whether it's, financially fit or physically fit, being financially fit will help improve your mood because you'll feel more confident. And when you're more confident, you'll be a happier person. When you are physically fit, you feel better. Your immune system's better. You're able to ward off diseases and other illnesses that might impact other people who are not feeling so good. So both emotionally and physically, it's really important to stay healthy and just do things now that the holidays are over to really get yourself on track to feeling better. If you have questions about any of the financially fit tips that we shared or any of the physically fit tips that we shared, let us know. We'll be happy to have those conversations with you because we do want you to have an opportunity to retire with purpose on time. And we believe every dollar has a purpose and every dollar has a timeline. But without really kind of putting a plan in place on how your dollars are going to be used and what they're going to be used for, and how are you going to be physically positioned, physically capable of enjoying that retirement time. Those are all important things to be hashing out now and making a plan so you can achieve that vision for your future. So until next time, everybody go out and retire with purpose
and on time.
And our next topic, we're going to talk about asset location, aligning your assets with taxation of certain account types. So how can we potentially reduce taxes by applying this concept of asset location? We're excited to share that with you next time. Take care.
Take care, guys.
You've been listening to the 15-Minute Financial Feast podcast. Remember, every dollar has a purpose and every dollar has a timeline. If you have questions about today's topic, schedule a call with a team member. Visit www.mypt5.com. Until next time, be sure you're taking steps to retire with purpose on time. Mark Triplett is an investment advisor representative of and advisory services offered through Royal Fund Management, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Nothing contained in this program should be considered an offer to buy or sell securities. Different investments have different risks associated with them, and not all investments are appropriate for all investors.